how are you?
I'm in the theater room right now, enjoying some entertainment. I'm
What are
about to
you
tune
watching?
in. I'm watching a new series called Iron Fist on Netflix.
I think you were telling me about that.
That's right.
I've been
Yeah.
he- Everybody's still talking about Ozark, like that they're still getting through on the series.
Yes. That's another exceptional series. It's a lot to take out of it if you're looking to launder capital. You definitely can get some concepts from that show for sure. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
No, 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 don't do that. Don't do that. Mind you, you're talking to a group of accountants and bookkeepers and CPAs, so
I am aware of that.
we don't need
So,
those kind of problems.
and I am grateful for all of you having multiple portfolio companies. I shout out to all the CPAs, accountants, bookkeepers. You are all exceptional people. Grateful for you, all the work you do. Thank you.
So, Reggie, what can we talk about right now in front of my audience?
Well, because you asked me, I think we need to discuss opportunity. With the news discussing so much gloom and doom, very few people are able to pay attention to the opportunities that are available right now and the timing and positioning themselves for everything getting ready to go on sale, right? So this is going to be like a Walmart rollback here. Um,
A
you know,
Walmart rollback on stocks, on businesses, on currency.
this is the time to change not only your financial situation, but literally move into a different tax bracket to position yourself for the next 10 years, right? Because we kind of go through these same cycles every 10 years. And so it's like if the last 10 years weren't exceptional, this is the time right now to really be taking the time to position yourself for an exceptional decade.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, what advice would you give my community on, how to make this an exceptional time for them?
I think one of the areas that people fail to pay close attention to is the area of monetizing relationships. And relationships, obviously, all transactions are backed by people. And so, any industry that you feel like there's going to be hyper growth and it's an industry that you understand, the key is how do you lead with interest to serve and exchange trade off for whatever value you can obtain? Because there are people right now who are going to come up with the latest and greatest ideas, and they need individuals who have your skill sets to aid them and navigate them from, their capital expense and monitoring use of funds and not misappropriating funds. So if you leverage that human capital to strategically position yourself in certain relationships or certain circles, then you're going to get access. And when people get access to information or relationships, that could be transformative, and I'm a product of that, right? My background, I didn't start out running multiple businesses. I was in network marketing for over a decade, but I really understood people, the psychology of people, the science of selling, the science of understanding why people do what they do and don't do. And I use that skill set to enter in people that were in higher areas of business like trade and I mean like global trade, not trading stocks, but like actually buying and selling raw products. And so they were good at business, I was good at people. So there was an exchange. So if you find exchanges, what took place for me was I learned skill sets, I learned about traditional business, and it opened up multi-million dollar opportunities. And so we continued that journey from there. So I think really this is a time to get skilled up, right? To work on your skills, your interpersonal skills, because many of you right now are literally one or two people away from a seven-figure transaction that can literally transform the rest of your year.
Okay. So what I hear is there are a lot of businesses there are a lot of businesses and individuals that are going to be profiting during this time, that are going to be in creation mode and profiting. So as accountants and bookkeepers and tax professionals, they need to make sure that they use their network to reach these businesses and individuals that are now in creation, right? And how can they help facilitate businesses growth and individual growth, and how they could put themselves in the right rooms with the right people, networking, well, not in the right rooms, right? Or in the right virtual rooms,
Right.
right? So that they can help these people with capital, right? Or that they
Correct.
can help people, um, you know, I'm sorry.
I was telling my
Um,
boys it's time for bed. They're
right.
taking
So,
advantage of me not paying attention. So yes,
oh,
I'm
I
listening.
know, I know, I know, I know. I'm sure Deanna and Charlie is still up. Yeah. So type in the chat, guys, right now. If you are currently working with clients, what type of clients are you working with right now? I know Detroit says stocks, and what creative ideas have you yourself thought about during this time? Because a lot of people, if you just gave yourself, and I got this from Earl Nightingale. He said, spend 1 hour early in the morning just writing out ideas on how you can improve upon your industry, how your industry is going to be operating in the next 10 to 15 years. So you guys now, with this quarantine, we have a lot of space and opportunity to think, but unfortunately, a lot of people are taking that attention and they're putting it into like Netflix, and they're putting it into Bravo, Real Housewives, and I'm guilty too. But if we could just set aside 1 hour every single morning to just think on how can I be creative during this time? What additional services and products can I contribute during this time?
Right.
Where's the market heading? If there is a recession that's going to happen, how can I pivot my services? So a lot of people are, instead of being in a state of contraction, need to actually be in a state of creativity and really understanding how can they can be of better service right now.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that's is critical in this time is really becoming clear on what it is that you really want, right, and what you need. You've heard me say this before. You got to elevate your needs, right? And when you elevate your needs, because like we don't always get our wants, but we get our needs. And
Right.
so for me, and I think most people who've, you as well, that have accelerated success and condensed time frames, we decided we needed more. So you got to ask yourself, what more do you need? And for me, for the first time, I'm Reggie Flowers. I'm an author. I'm an entrepreneur. I wrote a book called The Art of Struggle, The Five Incontrovertible Laws for Transformation, Success, and Fulfillment. I am also near and dear to Miss Tyus. And
Go ahead and say it. You're my future husband. Go ahead. Let us know.
so the facts are that this is the time to get really clear on what it is that you desire for yourself and your family, because clarity allows you to breed your innovation for your life. So until you're clear, and we call it crystal clear, right? Okay. And we're going to coin that tonight, crystal clear. You got to be crystal clear. Like I remember when we first started dating, and she was like, I don't like any ambiguity. Okay. You got to be real clear with me on what it is, what your intention is, who are you, right? So just like in dating, you have to be crystal clear, right? Like you need to be so crystal clear on what it is that you're going to plan out, right? Both financially, relationships, family, spirituality, whatever those values are for you. You need to take this time to get clear and also scare yourself. Create a core value or strategy that scares you, like that feels unattainable, because it's there where the courage kicks in and you really begin to press forward, and inspiration steps in, and then you allow God to step in and bridge the gaps. Like I'm proof of that, right? Like me, people know me. Like the favor of God is just one of those things that when you really tap on it, you're like, I'm not this good, but the results say differently, right? And so
Right.
this is the time to really rely on that. And many of you listening right now, you're thinking, you're investing, you're in terms of what to do. Now you just got to really be clear on what it is that you want. Many of us are launching like companies right now during this pandemic, right? Like You're in the lab. I'm in the lab, right? Like we mastermind frequently. Like, listen, you need to mastermind with your friend, your lover, whoever you got. Okay, your dog. It doesn't matter who it
The
is. You need
dog.
to mastermind.
Wait, the dog, Reggie. The dog.
Whoever's gonna listen.
CJ said was like, oh, I knew there was a sexy talking going on. They could feel the energies, Reggie. The energies.
No, it's synergistic for sure. We're keeping the PG-13, so we don't want to, mess up any irreparable harm to the brands here. But yeah,
Yes.
Is there any questions you guys have for us? Maybe you have questions. We both run multi-million-dollar companies.
Reggie, let me ask you something.
Sure.
How do you? It's a personal question.
Okay, you're so beautiful.
Thank you, honey.
Mm-hmm.
How do you?
Yes.
How do you deal with the woman that's very high strong and alpha in her own right? How, as a man, what advice would you give other men on how to attract and nurture and to build with a woman that is in growth mode?
So what she's asking, men, is how do you harness the power of a strong, brilliant, wonderful woman? Well, I think the first thing you have to do as a man is you have to be totally comfortable in who you are, right? Like, you're no longer seeking validation outside, right? It's internal. You've resolved whatever limiting beliefs you may have had about yourself or your capabilities or who you are. You're clear, and then you're clear on your trajectory on your life, right? You understand your purpose. You understand your cause, your mission. And so when you welcome someone who also has an equal or greater purpose called on their life, you don't see it as a threat. You see it as a value add. See, so often in relationships is you versus I versus we, right? And so when you get into the collective versus the individual, it allows for you to see that person and love that person as they are, so that you can figure out how do you add value, right? Because nothing ever goes wrong when we lead by adding value instead of extracting. So often people always try to take from that. And men, we feel like that so often, that she may not respect me. But what I've learned is that the most powerful women on the planet understand the power of the ability to indirectly lead, to not try to compete to be the head of a household, right? But they still understand how to be in their own right. And so what they do is when they relinquish power or dictatorship, push that, with the right man, what he's going to do is turn to you for counsel, turn to you for advice, turn to you for strategy, and then you still get to add value to the direction of the household. So I think it's really having a level of confidence, not questioning yourself, and then respect. When you really respect the person that you are with, then you will value them. You will treat them with dignity and honor. And when people feel that, then we behave and conduct ourselves differently than when we feel like we're at odds. So to me, if you're trying to play at a high level, Steve Harvey said it best. He said, you can become very successful as a man and woman individually, but you can become great when you have a great woman or a great man. And so if you're looking to be great, then you need that spouse that aids to you, and don't be afraid of that. Now, I'm not saying that, you need to have you need to be a power couple, because that wasn't our objective, right? That wasn't the target. That was not our goal. But how do we work through two valued individuals that have individual goals, dreams, aspirations, families, right? And work that together? Communication, right? We're great at communicating. We've learned to express how we feel without being disrespectful, right? And we've learned to listen intently without interjecting, so the other person can get their thoughts out.
I love that. Thank you, honey. Venus says, oh, he teaching and preaching. Yes. This is Pastor Ridge. Yes. Jim says, "Hey, Krista, I'm done with bookkeeping crash course. What's the next thing to do?" Jim, you need to join Tax and Accounting Clients on Demand so I can help you get some clients.
Do
And
it,
if
Jim.
yeah, if you when you join Tax and Accounting Clients on Demand, I'll refund you the price of the bookkeeping crash course because it's actually included in that program.
Ooh, get it.
So Jim, come on over and let me help you
A
get some
strong
clients.
woman always needs her man to feel like a man. Absolutely.
Strong woman,
Absolutely.
man to feel like
Yeah,
a man.
Spaces by Chammy. A man
So
has
what
to
questions do you guys have for me and Reggie, or what are some even personal questions? Because I don't think I've ever answered any personal questions. Like you guys really don't know about my behind the scenes life, you know?
and they don't care to either because they still asking about how can we encourage prospects? Like they try to get to their money. I like it. They should
Okay,
like
wait. What is that? How can we encourage prospects to become a client in these times of uncertainty? Yeah. So Deja, that's what we teach in Tax and Accounting Clients on Demand on how you can communicate value, right? So I just made a post about that on my Instagram page where there are millions of businesses that need help navigating, obtaining capital, really creating a budget, really helping them retain their employees. So if you just need to know how to position your value. When you know what value you bring to the marketplace to both businesses and individuals, people are going to pay you money every single time, regardless if it's a pandemic or if the economy is business as usual. It's just how you communicate that value. So that's what I really help you teach. And so yes, definitely check out Tax and Accounting Clients on Demand so you can learn that. My clients, just with during the pandemic, they're making in between $1,000 and $2,000 per week now, and that's just helping people with the pandemic. That's not including their money with tax preparation or bookkeeping. So it's a huge opportunity for tax and bookkeepers right now.
Venus says, I have a question. I have questions. That's plural. Okay.
Well, come on, Venus, type them in the chat, darling. Type
It's
them
an
in the
info.
chat.
Jim.
Jim, if you want, you can go to my page and click on the link, and it gives you more information about Tax and Accounting Clients on Demand. I even have a video on there, like walking you through the course, like the behind the scenes of what the course looks like before you actually enroll. Bar app said I was signing up for the crashing course ASAP. So you guys, so Tax and Accounting Clients on Demand, that includes all of my courses. So you get the bookkeeping crash course, the tax prep. So oh, somebody just signed up just now. Hey guys, we in here, Reggie.
I see that. I see that. Serve it. I'm here to serve, baby. I'm here to serve.
This is my first year as a tax preparer, and I've learned a lot. I know I haven't scratched the surface. Where can I learn more? Accounting and taxes. Yeah. You guys need to be in Tax and Accounting Clients on Demand. That's where you need to be at.
Jim
So,
needs the link. He's like, get
so
me the link.
yeah. So if you're trying to get more clients, if you're trying to learn taxes and bookkeeping, if you want my support every single week, then Tax and Accounting Clients on Demand is a course for you. That's what you want. Thank you, Daisha.
Ooh, that's a good question from
What?
Miss Mathis. She says, I have an accounting business, brick and mortar, and I don't get much traffic. How can I gain more traffic?
Yeah. So Miss Methods, we do everything virtual. All my clients work virtually. We don't even have everybody that I work with work from home. So you won't even need your brick and mortar. So like for instance, one of my gals, she just signed up. She just got her first bookkeeping client, and the client is not even in her state. So when you actually know how to sell your services online, you're actually able to work with any small business or individual throughout the United States. So
Look
you
at
want
that.
to need your brick and mortar.
As soon as I open up my computer, look who's on there.
What was it?
You see?
Oh, is that my Facebook page?
Maybe.
You be on it, Reg. On
A
it.
little bit. A little bit.
Hey Tiffany. Hey guys.
Well, let me ask you a question. Since everybody's tuning in, this is your audience. Let me interview you, right?
Sure.
Because I think this would be really great.
Uh-oh.
So, right now, with the pandemic taking place, what are some of the opportunities you feel are readily available right now for those who are in the tax and accounting niche? Like, what's hot right now And what should they do? Like if they were going to take 3 steps off of this, what are 3 steps that they could do right now to produce some revenue this week?
3 steps that they can produce some revenue.
Yep. Like what could they do? One could be buy your course, right? Like I don't know, but I'm just asking.
Right, right. So yeah, so okay. So step number one is you need to know what services you want to offer right now. So there are a lot of people looking for SBA loans. There are a lot of people that need help on their taxes because that's one of the requirements to get a stimulus check. So a lot of people right now is cash. Like how can I get cash right now in my pocket? So you as the tax professional and bookkeeper and accountant and CPA and EA, you get cash by helping people get cash, right? Like that's your value. That's your selling proposition. Hey Charlie, bring me my charger. It's downstairs by the kitchen. Hurry up, because my phone about to die, please. Thanks. So yeah, so know your services, create your price point for your service, and then go out and sell it. So tax and accounting clients on demand helps you navigate social media and how to actually attract your ideal people online and sell your services effectively to where you can work from the comforts of your home, still be quarantined with your family, but
Mm-hmm.
also making money, right? Making money so you can support yourself. So one of the common things that I've been hearing is, Krista, should I still promote during this time? It's like, yes, yes, you still want to market your services because one, there are a lot of people that need help. They just don't know. Like the SBA guidelines changed like 7 times in the past week. Like they changing, who qualifies, who don't qualify, what they're going to ask for, and so forth. So you as a
Hi,
professional,
Charles.
they have to keep up with that. The business owner, they don't know where to go for help. They just know what is being regurgitated on CNN and Fox 2 News, and they can't even keep up with everything.
Tiffany MCO just said I joined the program less than a month already, and I've increased my revenue. Congratulations, Tiffany.
Hey, Tiffany, yes. Congratulations. I love it. Yeah, Tiffany got in and crushed it. Like, Tiffany, she is one of those that just,
About her money.
right.
Get that money.
Some people get in like, oh, I'm gonna make my money back. Do we miss any questions?
No, we haven't missed any questions, but I'll continue to interview you. So let's flip it now. With you being a very successful, independent, strong mother, right? Single mother, build a multi-million-dollar business, right? On your own, like self-made. And then you meet someone who too has had that level of success. How do you balance that relationship, right? Because you have a demand, you have a community, you have children. He has children. He has demands. He has needs, right? How do you balance that?
Yes. Okay. So I balance it by one, communication, right? See, I think a lot of people, they don't communicate their expectations and then they feel slighted because that person or the thing, whatever, didn't live up to what they were wanting, right? So just knowing your partner's like expectations, like what do they want to feel in this relationship, right? They want to feel valued, they want to feel loved, they want to feel needed or nurtured or whatever. And once you know those core values, you could therefore in turn show up and make a conscious effort to contribute to that feeling, right? Because I was telling you this the other day, like we don't need each other, right? Most adults right now that are living, they don't need a wife or they don't need a husband because most adults are self-sufficient, right? Like back in the olden days, people got married because they needed that family dynamic. The man needed a wife to cook and to clean and to bear children, and a wife needed a man to go out and provide and support the family. Now both men and women, we cook, we clean, we provide, we support our families.
We
So
hire
now it's
people.
really about who's a value add, right? Like who's adding to what I already got going on, both men and women. So when you think about the value add, now you're just looking at how can I get there faster, right? More efficient. How can I get a companion? And then how can I get somebody that contributes to the feeling that I want to feel every day, right? That feeling of love and inspiration and just desire and respect, right? So that's what I'm looking for, and I know that as a mate, that's what I'm constantly trying to figure out. Like, how does he want to feel, right? Like, he wants to feel catered. So I'm going to make sure I wake up and I cook his breakfast, and he likes his toast a certain way. So, you know, we got to,
I do, I do, I do, I do.
because he wants to feel catered to, right? So it's like creating the feeling. You just creating the feeling because he don't need me, right? He wants me because that's it, because I'm value add, both on offerings, right? Because, and we were just talking about this, like being a value add, not just like in a relationship, but are you a value add with my business, right? Can I come to you during consult? Can I trust your advice, your opinion? Are you a value add with family, right? Can I trust your opinion? Can I trust that you're going to be unbiased when you give advice? You know, are you a value add with my health, right? Can we work out together? Can you push me? Can you motivate me? So it's not just with, oh, I feel catered, you know, I love you. But no, it's like, are you a value add on all fronts of my life? Like, are you adding to and elevating me higher than what I'm
All the
going to give
hearts.
back?
You get all the hearts. That's right. That's right. Hold on. So let's go back. We got a question from your virtual taxpayer. She says, how can I gain the confidence in increasing my fee? I feel like this is the first year that people are seeing me preparing taxes. So I feel like people won't choose me as an option unless my fee is, and I'm assuming low. Yes.
Low. Yes.
For the
No.
low,
Don't do
low.
it. No. Don't do it. Okay. That's a really great question. How can I give the confidence in increasing my fee? So how I get confidence in increasing my fee is just knowing what's it worth to someone, right? So when you don't know what something is, you don't know, if you can't quantify the value that you're bringing to the table, you're never going to feel confident charging a higher price. So for instance, I just did a quick training video yesterday for my community on how to sell a $2,500 tax return. How many of you have sold a $2,500 tax return? How to sell a
I don't know.
$2,500 business. I'm sorry, it was for a partnership, right? A $2,500 partnership tax return. And so pretty much during the interview process, we discovered that this partnership was paying about $24,000 in taxes. Well, you as the professional tax preparer, you need to understand, is that true? Is that right? Is that accurate? Are they paying more than their fair share of taxes? So in order to increase your fee, you do have to understand, how can I be of value and of service? How can I make somebody more money, save somebody more money, save them time? If you're just going to go in and just pop in some numbers and do a W-2 or a basic tax return, yeah, that don't feel good charging $2,500 for, right? But if you actually know tax strategies, you know the best deductions, the best credits that this business can take, you understand their structure and what other structures that they could potentially elect that's actually going to save them more taxes. When you go in it with the mind frame of service and of value, you're gonna feel confident charging more money, because you're like, I'm about to potentially save you $24,000. The investment for us to work together, Mr. Business Owner, is just $2,500.
Yes.
Now that feels good, right? But if I'm just going in there and I'm winging it and I don't know nothing about credits and deductions and tax entity election and strategies, I'm gonna charge $300 because I am just a data entry person. It don't feel good. So you gotta come with value, and you're gonna, like, once you realize what's it worth, like what you're bringing to the table for these people, you're gonna be like, I'm charging too little. I need to be charging more, right?
So let's talk about mindset, because I think that's so important right now, right? People can scale up, and we are what we think about. We are what we focus on, right? Wherever, focus goes, energy flows, right?
Right.
So you have overcome a lot. What would you tell your audience right now how to get a bulletproof mindset in wealth creation? Because you literally went from having little to nothing to now living in an 8,000 square foot home and being totally financially independent in like a 12 to 16 month turnaround, right? And there are people on here right now that the next 12 to 16 months, that they listen to you very carefully, their lives can be dramatically transformed as well. So what would you say attributed to creating that level of mindset to go from where you were at to where you're at today in such a condensed time frame?
Right, right. Okay. So, no, hey, we just had somebody, C and J Go sign up for tax and accounting clients on the man. Welcome. So we just okay, so mindset, increase your mindset. Yes. So I went from living in the basement of my aunt's home, barely can afford anything, right? I'm starting from scratch to now, like you said, living in an 8,000 square foot home, $1 million house. And so the mindset to get there was tough. Like one, I had a lot of limiting beliefs, right? I had limiting beliefs like I'm a woman. Who am I? You know, men are getting paid more than me. Oh, this man over here is doing this and he's a man, so I can't do what he do. Or I'm a black woman. Oh no, like people I want to attract, white people or Asian people or people outside my race, right? Like I had all of these limiting beliefs about myself that I had to systematically work through. So right now, if you have a limiting belief about who you are, your ethnicity, your class, your race, how you grew up, like you need to start breaking that stuff down. Because as long as you feel like you are not worthy, you won't get there. So I started having to tell myself a different story, right? And the different story was, God, when I look around, instead of looking, to the negative situations, right? And you taught me this. You were like, if you look for the negative, you're going to find it, right? You're going to manifest that. That's what you're going to attract to you. So now you got to look for the positive. Like, what's the positive about being a Black woman right now? Right? And then I start seeing like all these different opportunities specifically for Black women, right? Like all these people that know that there's a disparity that is willing to help push you and elevate you. So now
Yeah.
you find these different opportunities, you find these different ways on, instead of telling yourself a negative story, now you look for reasons on why it's a positive story. And when I started
Yeah.
telling myself that and just showing up for
Can
myself
you,
every day, what was
yes,
about
can you also provide some of the voices that helped, right? That helped shape this mindset, because I think it's so important for people to realize that we're nothing more than a collective database or repository of voices that are reshaping the way we see ourselves, see our world, see our circumstances, right? So maybe share with some of the people that are, because whenever I walk in your home, somebody's talking to you consistently. Like it's a never ending, opportunity for long term, what do they call it? Lifelong learning, right? You're a lifelong learner. You're constantly elevating, constantly increasing your thought process. So who are some of the initial voices that helped you?
to feel like that I was worthy.
That helped you just shape this mindset of success? You
Oh,
were
okay. Okay. So like people close to me or like online or doesn't matter?
just your online mentors, yes, because let people know YouTube is a great resource, right? So just talk about, you got Reverend Ike, you got, Tony Robbins. I mean, the list goes on and on, but who specifically spoke to you in your time of need that helped you elevate?
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, I have so many. So one, the very first person that really helped me have like the shift in value creation was Myron Golden. He said, like your income is in direct relation to the amount of value that you bring to the marketplace. So regardless of race, regardless of gender, regardless of class, your level of value, the money that you are paid, the things that you currently manifest is just a byproduct of the value that you created and you offered in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did, I constantly listened to stuff like that. Like when I was staying in my aunt's basement, and before then, when I was, just working on my business, I constantly listened to positive information. I never listened to anything negative. I wasn't even really watching TV at the time. Like I was watching Power, and Billions. But other than that, like I wasn't watching TV. I was pouring into myself. Earl Nightingale, Myron Golden, Reverend Ike, spiritually, that's definitely has helped me, right? Just tapping into the God in me, right? What Reverend Ike calls. Like people start searching for God all over the place, like, and looking up to the sky, but not honoring like the God within them, right? Like God is in you, it's in us. So tapping into that and just understanding that I am powerful, I am a creator, and pouring into yourself. So I don't know if you guys seen this, but last year in my apartment, I had affirmations all over my window, my bathroom wall. How many of you have seen that? Just type a one in the chat where I showed you all these affirmations. I am great. I am powerful. I am a creator. I help people, right?
I manifest millions of dollars every single whatever the quote was, right? So I
Day.
poured into myself every single day. And I even created an MP3 where I spoke my affirmations and I recorded it. And I would play that in the morning. I would make my kids say their affirmations. Say, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm beautiful, I'm a leader, right? Like we pouring into them now, even at a younger age, because I knew growing up, I didn't have a lot of people to have like that representation, right? And to pour into me and tell me that, you know, so it's really important. So yes, to answer your question, affirmations, following people, staying positive, like all of that. It sounds cliche, right? It sounds cliche, but
But
it helps.
so
I'm telling you.
so what I just heard, right, is number one, Krista Ties was committed to the process, right? There wasn't it wasn't for an occasion. It wasn't when it was, convenient. It was whatever it took. So you were committed to the process. Secondly, you realized that you didn't have all the answers, so you need to seek mentors virtually before you could actually invest in coaches. And then thirdly, you, even though your circumstance said one thing, your vision said another, and you decided to be faithful to your vision. So
Mm-hmm.
for those of you who are listening to that, I hope that's what some of the takeaways I just took from that messaging is that her vision led her to where she's at, no matter what her circumstance said. And one of my mentors used to always tell me is, Reggie, never allow your circumstances to dictate your decisions. Allow your decisions to dictate your circumstance. So you didn't allow your circumstance or what you saw with your eyes to determine the life that was ordained and destined for you. You allowed your vision. Most
Right.
people, when I'm on Zooms and coaching people, I'm realizing they're lacking clarity in their vision. So
Right.
anything you do today, get super clear on your purpose and where you're going. Spend some time with you. I know some of you that's a scary thing, but you got to spend some time with you quietly and just really working through what's in your heart, what's in your spirit, and then beginning to write it down. It's going to evolve, right? Would you agree that, look, I wasn't the ideal mate, right? We talked about that, right? So, I was supposed to be 20 years older, right?
You are.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And so when you look at how God can arrange things, and the same was, I wasn't looking for you, right? Like you weren't in my purview of what I was seeking.
Right.
And so as a result of just being clear though, so for you, you had an ideal structure. And for me, I was like, God, I'll trust whatever you have because you did it once, right? And you can do it again. And so just be clear. I think for you all as listening right now, work to be clear because it's when you're foggy, unclear, that's where we make mistakes. That's where we can't see the outcome because we're unclear.
Mm-hmm.
How you guys met? Oh, you tell them that story, right? Because you gotta give them all the facts. This is like one of those movie responses, right? How you guys met? Okay, I'll start the conversation. So back in 2012, at that time I was a professional network marketer, and Krista Tias was showing up on Facebook looking like a professional go-getter, and I jumped in her messenger and
Slid
asked
in
if
the
she
DM. No,
and I asked would she be open to a business opportunity. She said sure, right? It's 2012. 3 years go by, we never met.
he was trying
I'm
to
married.
recruit me. He was trying to recruit me for
Recruit me
network
into
marketing.
business. Yes. And 3 years go by and we didn't meet. Along those 3 years, I get married. And she reaches out to me in 2016, like, how's business? I see you doing things. And she's like, do you want to meet for coffee? Right. And so I'm like, sure. And I mean, tea. And so it was totally platonic. I'm married. She's in a relationship, but we meet on the strength of business, and it was very respectful. And so that happened in 2016. Then another couple years passes by, right? Go to bed. I want a second. Good night. And so another couple years goes by, and we meet again. And our lives have changed. Now she's single. I was widowed, and we had another meet. And during those meetings, she would usually ask me like 10 business questions, right? She would interview me, and it were very strategic questions, very respectful. Look, slid into the DMs. And so, good night. Good night. I'm talking right now. So, go ahead, Alex. Good night. And so we met again in August of 2019. Yes, I'll be upstairs shortly. Thank you. And so we met again in 2019, and we had a conversation in August. And again, we walked away from that conversation just on the strength of business. And then in October, I heard in my head, you need to get to know her, right? So Holy Spirit was like, you need to get to know her. So I called her. Now here's the funny part. I called her, asked her to lunch. She immediately agreed. I missed the date, ladies. I kid you not. I didn't put it in my calendar. I texted her on the date of our lunch, hey, are you ready for tomorrow? And she's like, you mean today? I was like, oh no, thank you. And so she gave me an opportunity to recoup, right? Recalibrate. We met the following day. And we'll just say this, it's been an interesting journey to get to this moment here, right?
Yes.
But I wouldn't change it for anything. And so it's really been like over a 7-year process that was so platonic and respectful.
It was always business. Yeah, it was always business. Like he tried to recruit me, and I saw like he seemed like he was doing something online. I'm like, cool. And I was just starting my tax business then. So I'm like, okay, I'm always open to new opportunities. You know how people be sliding in, like, are you open to new opportunities? I'm like, sure, right? So a few years later, when we finally met up, it was like, man, like it was me really trying to be connected with more entrepreneurs, more people that were just going to the trajectory that I was going. So that's another little caveat. So that year, even if you guys go back on my Facebook page, like I met with a lot of people that year. I was even hosting meetups at Panera Bread. Some of you might have met up with me. I think Venus, I met up with you. So I would meet up and host these little meetings at Panera and meet up with people. And Reggie was just somebody who I saw was, you know, you could just tell somebody going somewhere, right? Like they doing something, right?
I see you.
Right. So it was more connection. And then recently, you know, a few months ago, I was yearning, like, again, like what my friend Jonathan calls, what did he call it? It was something like a like energy, right? Like he's like, oh, I know what you're looking for. You're looking for like energy, like people that are on your energetic level, okay? And so Reggie just happened, he clicked in my head again. I'm like, oh yeah, like you know, he's heavy in business. I know he's trying to do big things. I'm like, let's meet up again. Let's see where he's at. Let's see how I can provide value to him. So honestly, I always go into our meetings like, how can I be of service? How can I be value? How can I help this person with their business? And also because I also want to learn and ask them questions, right? I want to pick their brain. So when we met, it was, again, platonic business, straight to the point. I was grilling him like, so tell me about business. What you been up to? I'm taking my notes. He's all chill, like, yeah, business is going good. And da-da-da-da-da-da. Right? And so that was it. So when he texted me back, like, hey, do you want to meet again? I'm like, I think this one might be a date or something. I don't know. So I
tell him how you tested though. How did you test
it? Right. I tested him. I said, okay, if this is a date, because you know Panera, whatever Starbucks that we was meeting at, like that was straight business. I was like, if this is a date, he's gonna take me to a real restaurant, right? He gonna have to spend some real money, right? So he asked me, he was like, where would you like to go? And I thought of the most expensive restaurants in this area. I was like, what's the most expensive restaurant? I was like, if he choose the most expensive one, I know this is a date, right? So I texted to him. I was like, we can go to these 2 restaurants. He chooses the most expensive one, which was a test. You passed it, by the way, honey. Great job.
Thank you. Virtual high five on that one. Yeah.
He chooses the most expensive restaurant, and I get geeked. I'm like, yes, he taking me to the most expensive restaurant. This is a date in my mind, right? And then, yes, it's been history ever since. Thank you, honey, for saying that. Okay, what questions did we miss, Reggie?
So, you had someone they were just saying that I'm trying to make it full. I am an EA. I have a seasonal individual tax preparation business, trying to make it full-time bookkeeping and business tax planning and pet tax prep. Does your course help me start with little experience?
Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, congratulations if you are an EA. Awesome. We have a lot of EAs in our program. Some choose to just focus on tax resolution, and others actually incorporate bookkeeping, accounting, as well as tax resolution. So yes, not only would you know how to offer those additional services, bookkeeping, tax planning, but you're also going to know how to price appropriately for those services. And the great thing about my community is you get to talk to me like this on video twice a week, but I get to actually see you in our video. We join on Zoom. So you actually get your hand held. So it's really great for newbies, people that are just now starting out, because you guys need a lot more hand holding, right? Than somebody that's already been in the business and now they just need some help getting some more clients. If you're just now learning how to do a business tax plan, not only would I show you how to actually do your workflow, your onboarding, how to communicate with people, right? Communicate that value. But you also get to talk to me and be like, hey, Krista, I got this client with this problem, or I got this issue, and I can actually help you troubleshoot and work through it. So yes, this Tax and Accounting Clients on Demand is the program for you to start, for sure. What was the other question?
You have someone just say, and then I'm going to tuck Alex in. I'll be right back.
Okay.
If I am not an EA, where can I start? And this comes from Guard app. How long will it take for me to see success?
Oh, sweet. Yeah. So you don't have to be an EA. You can just be a tax preparer, a bookkeeper. You know, an EA, I tell people to go after eventually. And I always tell people EA is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You don't have to rush to do that. But eventually you want to become an EA, just because the level of tax law knowledge that you're going to have is going to be, you know, unmatched, right? You're actually going to be able to take on better clients. You're going to feel more confident in charging more, because you're just going to have a higher understanding of tax law. So you can start getting clients now, right? You don't have to be an EA. There are a lot of people that don't even really have tax experience, right? But they start, they learn the basics, and then they immediately start getting clients. They start getting bookkeeping clients, accounting clients, helping people now with the SBA, the COVID-19 pandemic, right? Helping people navigate that with stimulus. So now is a really great time to start this business if you guys want definitely extra cash flow. Nahil says, I'm an EA. I have a seasonal. Did I answer that already? Yep. Okay, I answered that one. But there was another one in here I thought I missed. Let me see. Oh, I helped the client from going belly up, and I'm no longer working in the rescue mode, but the client is always calling me to swoop in and save them. How do I explain that they have to compensate me? Ooh, I love this question. So Mathis says that she has a client that's constantly calling her for services, right? They constantly need help. You know what I do? And I just told my client, my clients this all the time. As soon as a client emails me or calls me for a service, they're like, hey Krista, I need my last 3 months, whatever, let's just say bookkeeping done, right? I need my last 3 months bookkeeping done because I'm trying to apply for a loan. I say, okay, no problem. Check your email. I'm sending over invoice immediately. So I don't even communicate with them. I just, before work is done, before I even begin work, I'm submitting over invoice immediately. So if a client starts asking you to do work that is not included in your engagement letter, that is not included in your scope of services that you guys initially agreed upon, say, sure, no problem. I'm about to send over an invoice so I can get started. Type up the invoice in QuickBooks, send it right over. Now, what you're going to find is people are just going to start paying your invoices, and you can be like, oh, cool. And then now you can do the work and be on your merry way. So that's what you need to do. You don't have to explain to them. Just be like, sure, I'm going to send you over the invoice so I can get started on this whatever service that they asked for. How long would it take for me to see success? So client, you know, everybody is different. So everybody's skill level is different. So for instance, the clients that already have an understanding of taxes, of bookkeeping and accounting, they can come in and within 30 days make $5, $10, $15, $20,000 because they don't have to learn taxes and bookkeeping and accounting, right? Then there are people that are starting from scratch. Those people have to learn taxes. They have to learn bookkeeping. So those people typically don't get their first client till about 60 days into the program because they want to feel confident before they actually go out and get a client. So if you already have experience, immediately. If you're starting from scratch, give it about 60 days for you to really feel confident and go and start getting clients.
Great answer, babe. Great answer. They're so fortunate to work with you.
She said you should go live more often. Thank you. Thanks you, and I can't wait to officially join the community. Thank you. Can't wait to have you, Madam Queen. Yeah, I've been seeing your Instagram name for a long time. Come on over. Come on over. Let me help you. What does that say? I bet get the clear. You will help me. What does that say?
Let me get this clear. You will help me set up the entire process.
I show you how to set up the entire process, and then I support you along the way. So I
And
don't
Faith
do
by
it.
Chammy says, what is your financial background, education, work experience, etc.?
Who said that?
Faces by Chammy.
I don't see that.
I do. So let's go ahead and answer that. She wants to know what's the deets. She wants to know what's the background.
For who? Oh, I
Ooh.
what is your financial? I don't know. Mine's just coming up late. What is your financial background, education, work experience? Okay, got you. So, I worked in banking for several years. I worked at Bank of America, at Chase Bank, and then I started my own tax and accounting business that I grew to 6 figures, and did that every single year. So I would make, $100,000 in 16 weeks, right? Just during tax season. I helped tax resolution clients, became an enrolled agent, and now I help hundreds of tax professionals, bookkeepers, accountants, and CPAs make 6 figures.
Ooh, that's so bossy.
Stop.
This usually with such a straight face too. I wake up like this. I woke up like this.
Right. All right, guys. We got one more question, Reggie, and then we'll hop off. What last question can we leave our people with? They've been inspired tonight. I'm loving it.
Okay. So final question for tonight. Knowing what you know today, right, through your experience, what would be one sound piece that you could give universally to anyone on here that's in the pursuit of growth right now? Like, what is one thing that you've learned over the course of your entrepreneurial career that would be of value to anyone listening right now? What's one piece, one nugget that resonates with you consistently? It's maybe a philosophy, a core value of yours. Like, what is that?
That's so hard because I'll be having 1,000,001 core values. What's one?
But give them one. Give them one. It's 10:30 at night, Eastern Standard Time. Wherever you at in the world, give them one.
I would say for me is initially don't reinvent the wheel. I used to try to figure it out all on my own, and it took me a long time, and I wasted a lot of money. I went broke. I went homeless. Me and my 2 kids stayed in my tax office for a period because I was trying to reinvent the wheel and I was trying to figure it out on my own. So the biggest mistake that I made over the past 10 years was not seeking help, right? Not finding somebody who is doing exactly what I want to do and saying, let me pay you money to help me. Like, help me, teach me exactly how you got to where you are. Teach me everything that I need to know so I don't make the same mistake. So if somebody then, with the 23-year-old Krista, somebody came to me and was like, hey, Krista, you're going to go homeless. You're going to have a newborn baby and you're going to be on a struggle bus. You're going to have 2 kids. You're going to be staying in your tax office. You're going to be living in your aunt's basement for a period of time as a grown woman, right? You're going to be in a toxic relationship because you need that person because you can't afford to be out in the world by yourself right now. So if somebody told me this at 23, that's how my 20s was going to look, and they said, you can go through that, or you can pay me right now $10,000 or $20,000, and I would show you how to get to where you want to get in the next 2 years, I would have figured out a way to come up with the money. So the key here is don't reinvent the wheel. Stop trying to do everything by yourself because it's costing you years of your life, unnecessary heartbreak and pain. And just find somebody that's doing what you want to do and learn the blueprint. Get the blueprint. Get the keys to success because it's out there.
Right.
What would you say is yours, Reggie?
I think very similar to you. I went through a season of experiencing success in my early 20s, built my first $1 million company by the time I was 21. By the time I was 26, I lost it. And then it was like a 4-year horizon of just struggle and refining. And I think the number one element for me was making sure that I remained spiritually aligned, right? Like it was so important to realize that I am not that good, right? And really trusting God. So that was, for me, it was a more of a spiritual journey and getting that alignment, because once the alignment happened, then the favor started coming in. And so I think looking back is really realizing that you can't do it all by yourself, very similar to what you just said, and that you need to have a mentor or coach that can help you through this process. And if I were in bookkeeping, CPA, tax accounting, and I was looking for a marketing strategy, I would highly recommend Chris Attias. And I don't say that because I love you. I say that also because you're a marketing genius. Like the world doesn't even know who you are yet, but you are going to be one of the greatest minds that the world will ever know in business. And I watch it, I get to see it firsthand. And for those of you who are working with her, don't take her for granted, because she is a bridge for many of you to create a multiple 6-figure income in 2020 leading into 2021. So for me, my number one tip was being spiritually aligned, trusting God, partnering with God. But if it was number two, is the people around you. And so hold on to Chris Attias really tight, because where she's going, the information that she's going to be able to pour back into you is